Lovely. Tricky sentence here. So ein Verhalten sieht ihnen gar nicht ähnlich. That's a tricky one. Let me keep this very short. I would just look at sieht ähnlich. They are nice. So sieht, you know, again comes from sehen. And ähnlich. Yeah, where? There's a verb called ähneln, to resemble. So ähnlich means resembling. Yeah. So it doesn't resemble them. So ähnlich sehen is kind of, you cannot separate that. Yeah, it has nothing to do with to see. Well, indirectly, not directly. Yeah, of course, if you resemble, that means you look the same. Yeah, they resemble, something resembles, not. So one good advice is to always look for words like kein and nicht, at least until B1 that's enough, to figure out whether the meaning turns into the opposite. So it doesn't resemble, and you might remember ihnen by now, them. The gar is not relevant. And if you look at the literal translation, I give this to you, such a behavior sees them not resembling. Yeah? Makes no sense in English, and until this feels natural to you, you'll be B2. But just that you see, there's a couple of things in here that might be useful. Er schweigt kurz und. So, you might have heard of someone called Schweighöfer. It's a German actor. I forgot his first name. But this is where this might appear. Schweigen. Schweigen means to remain silent. Yeah, a monk remains silent. So if a monk is actually not speaking, he's, well, schweigen. Now we have a saying: Reden ist Silber, Schweigen ist Gold. You make sense of that. Reden is to talk, and Schweigen means to remain silent. So, he remains silent. Kurz. Kurz. I think there's even an English word, kurz, I'm not sure. Well, no, not really. If there is, maybe I made it up. So, kurz, there's a guy called Dean Kurz, I think maybe that helps. His career was very short. No offense, dear Dean. Yeah, his career was very short. So kurz means short. Short. My shorts are very kurz. Sorry, without the T. And that's often a problem. The Z in German actually is pronounced as TS. Yeah, so you might be tempted to add a T where it shouldn't be. Yeah, and sometimes we even have that. But be careful. So he's quickly, for a short period he's silent, and what is he doing? Blickt betroffen zu Boden. Again, let's add the subject. Blicken. That's a lovely word. Maybe there's blicker in English that might be related. Come on. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, if not, not. So blicken simply means to look at the floor. Yeah, it's another word for looking. We have plenty of words for looking, God knows why. Betroffen, let's not go there. Zu Boden is also a fixed expression, but I like Boden. It means the ground. Yeah, we could also have am Boden, on the ground. Boden, body. So imagine he looks down and sees a body on the ground. Body, ground. Best I can do. Could be better. So he looks betroffen. I cannot say he's touched somehow by the whole thing. Concerned, affected would be my choice. He looked affectedly to the ground. To ground. Yeah? Zu Boden is a fixed expression, it doesn't get an article. Es sind so liebe Tiere. So, es sind, even though it's es, the sind doesn't belong to es, it belongs to Tiere. Remember, when my tears come, they come when animals are treated badly. So, animals are so lieb. And lieb, you remember, the B turns into a V, and the rest we copy. Almost. Lovely. Liebe. Yeah, you remember, ich liebe dich. I love you. Yeah, so es sind so liebe, liebe, so lovely, or such lovely animals. Yeah, but es sind is a tricky one. You will see that later on. Don't worry about it, you don't need it now. Sie sind noch nie weggelaufen. Sie, remember, it's in the beginning, so it has to be capitalized. It could be you, the reader, but I don't think the author is addressing us right now. We have been talking about what in the past in sentence? They. Yeah, because the animals. So it can only be they. They are. Noch nie is also something that belongs together. But nie, I've never heard my nie. Never. So they are never or have never weggelaufen. So weg is very, you might come across the capital version of this, which means way. I like that. But if it's a small one, it is a way. So they have never, away, and laufen, what could that mean? The animals are not there, so they have never run away. Yeah, they never ran away. So gelaufen is the past of laufen. Lauf, lauf, lauf. Good enough. Herr Merkel wird mir das niemals verzeihen. This is all a bit higher level than A1. Don't worry about this. So wird and verzeihen, you have the verb here. Wird, if there's a second verb at the end, that's usually the one with the meaning. This is just to create a certain grammatical aspect. And here you have the nie again, so never, Herr Merkel, and you have here das without a capital word, so that means that. Nie means never, the mals we don't care. Verzeihen, well, the fair here translates nicely into for, but zeihen is such an outdated word on its own, but verzeihen, of course, is very common. It's forgive. Yeah, to forgive. So Herr Merkel, that never forgive. So wird here can only mean he will that never forgive, and who will he never forgive? Me, which is mir in German in this context. So he will never forgive me. And that is not the whole sentence. What will he not forgive him? Wenn, which by the way also translates as when, which is more obvious than the als one. Seine, yeah, tricky word, you will get there, means his. Geliebt, you have already learned. Love, very loved, and geliebt is beloved. Möpse, you remember? Parks, do you remember the colloquial meaning? And weg, you remember, capital Weg means way, and lowercase Weg means away. So when they are away, or in this case, gone. Yeah, actually, in this case, the translation of when to if, it makes a lot more sense. So when can mean both when and if. In this case, as if my English is accurate, better this. He will never forgive it if they are gone, because we don't know yet. Herr Müller wirkt richtig verzweifelt. We have a lovely second appearance of wirken, to work. But here you remember what I said, if you take the whole sentence, he seems. Richtig, you might have learned in school, means correct. But if something is correct, that means he is like, it's emphasizing. Yeah? Maybe quite is a good translation. They don't do that. So let me look up two words. Really is a nice word. Real. So if something is, that's much better. Really. And verzweifelt. Zweifel means to doubt, but verzweifel means simply desperate. I have not much to offer here. Verzweifeln is also a word you don't necessarily have to remember, but there is a little hook here. The zwei means two, and you know the fair, you might remember it goes sometimes in the wrong direction. So that means you have two pieces that go in separate directions, maybe in two different directions, and tears them apart, and that of course is a good image for being desperate. Yeah, he's torn into two pieces. Last sentence. It was quite a tough lesson, so don't worry if all these seems a bit too much, but maybe you take a few little things from it. So Simone is doing something, she's mustering him, and very likely that's also the English meaning. Yeah, to muster. See, you have the same word. Beautiful. And you know that we had ihnen before, which meant them, but we also have a short version of this, which is only one, because if it's shorter, it can only be one. Yeah, that's him. We talk about this later. Don't worry about it. So von oben bis unten. Oben, I'm not sure whether we had this. Oven, almost over. Bis, we get to, at one point, to under. Unter. You see the relation here, right? From above, oben actually means above, bis, until he's at the bottom. Yeah, so von oben bis unten, I wouldn't even know how to translate that into English, but this is what it means literally. So from top to bottom. Yeah, that's the meaning. Yeah, so she's mustering him from top to bottom to check him out. That was lesson 6, chapter 6, and see you in chapter 7.